Welcome to the SCGVegas.com Las Vegas Standard Open. I'm Glenn Jones. I'm here with Travis Wu.
Thanks for having me, Glenn.
Yeah, it's good to see you, man.
Always a pleasure.
You're a little far south from your usual...
I flew all the way from Seattle to Las Vegas to play this deck because I was having so much fun. I thought it was a really good choice. I'm actually 1-2 in the tournament right now. So for those of you at home who are checking the standings, I'm sorry to disappoint, but I wouldn't change anything. I mean, sometimes you lose. I'm happy with the deck. I'm happy with my play. I still think it's awesome. I'm going to keep playing in the tournament, so...
Sure. So if you were playing a tournament, like tomorrow, you'd still play the same one?
I flew from Seattle to Las Vegas to play this deck. I don't regret it.
All right.
Even now, it's awesome.
Well, looking at it, we can obviously see it's kind of similar to the deck that Conley championed, I know, at Pro Tour Gatecrash, in that it, mostly a mono black shell, and he splashed red as you have. But you've also gone into green.
Yeah, there's a couple reasons. Okay, first of all, Farseek's really insane, especially with Crypt Gas. That's something I want to do. Farseek gets a swamp, Overgrown Tomb's a swamp, Blood Crypt's a swamp, so you can make a lot of mana really fast. Drag Tusk is just awesome. If you're Farseeking and you're doing a controlling thing, it's great. It's a good beater against control decks too. But the main reason I'm green and red is really Wolf Run. I'm playing 4 of them. I'm stretching my mana base, like really stretching the swamps, but this card is so crazy. It's really good.
Yeah, we've seen the power of Wolf Run for months now, for sure. And yeah, you've stretched. You had to get a stomping ground in here, and your key runes. You got Gruul key runes, which I think this is the first time we've seen that card. And it's on the stats, it's reasonably close to Rakdos key rune, which is definitely a constructed level.
He's been awesome. He's attacked Garrick today. Like he tapped for mana, which is the main thing we need him for. I always like to play decks, especially in ramp decks, like 26 lands, 3 Farseek, 2 key rune. It's over half mana sources. If you flood out, you just Kessig, and all the creatures are insane, like Nighthawk, hit you for 5, gain 5. Crypt Gas, hit you for 15. It's awesome with Drag Tusk, because you just have a bunch of bodies and a bunch of time. If you connect with Kessig on Gristlebrand, like feels good. Yeah, probably not necessary, but...
Yeah, one of the things I noticed is, it is a Gristlebrand deck. You've got 3 of them in here. You can also get the mana with Crypt Gas and all your acceleration. But you actually have like a ton of life gain too to go with it. Not just his own life link, but like the Nighthawks, which also with Wolf Run, like you said, Thragtusk can even get you another 7 cards in the right circumstances.
Yeah, and the Crypt Gas too. The Extort is actually a very real thing. In the first game of the tournament, I want to say I had all 4 Crypt Gas on the field, which is a lot of mana and a lot of life drains. He's at 7, but it's just...
A handful of spells.
Give me your 7 life, yes,
Okay, so your numbers are a little skewed. You had to go down to 3 Farseek, it looks. I assume this was just because it wasn't all that castable all the time, or you didn't have float on them?
So we only have 9 2-mana plays, which is enough to usually get there. I don't want to depend on it super heavily. We have key runes for later, but actually drawing 2 Farseeks is just really bad. Like the second Farseek is worse than a land, because you're missing a land drop to Farseek, which is like you're spending 3 mana instead of So I just didn't want to draw 2 of them. I hated drawing 2 of them, but drawing 1's awesome if you cast it. So
sure. You've also got Sign of Blood, one of the more efficient card drawers in the format.
Yeah, I'm only playing 2. The reason for that is drawing cards is nice. Spending early game time and life is not very good against a lot of decks. And also, it's pretty bad on the draw sometimes because you're like, I want to spend my mana on turn 2, but I'll have to discard and I'm just losing 2 life. So I kind of prepared for maybe losing like a bunch of die rolls and being on the draw a lot. I was like, yeah, I want to win when I'm on the draw too. So
sure. Plus, it's definitely not as efficient as Gristlebrand, which is like your Sphinx's Revelation.
Gristlebrand is crazy. So one of the reasons I'm playing this deck is because the control decks have stopped running counterspells just because there's all caverns and everyone's trying to kill on turn 2 or 3, the aggro decks. So Gristlebrand, you can count on it resolving against the control decks, and it's crazy. It has a bunch of abilities.
Like and they're all very good.
They don't attack your life total, so you can pick up your deck, and it's a 7/7 threat. They need to deal with that too, so it's just like, it lets you beat Sphinx's Revelation. They can Sphinx's Revelation for their whole deck, and you can still just beat them with the Gristlebrand.
Yeah, one of the synergies I really like in all of these kinds of shells is just like the Mutilate, which is like a really good sweeper in the format, and Key Runes just as like in general combined very well together. Thragtusk also to a lesser extent.
You can like mutilate everything, then hit your Planeswalker. It's really good.
And so let's talk a little bit about your sideboard. You have the Rakdos' returns and the Slaughter games that were also, I think, President Conley's build, which excellent weapons against control decks, like huge game.
Yeah, it's one of the main reasons why Jund is good. Just like take your Sphinxes, discard your hand, kill your Planeswalker. Those cards are a huge draw to the deck.
Sure. You also added a Curse of Death Soul, which is a card that's coming up a little bit in the world recently. Pretty good against the Aristocrats.
Yeah, I wanted to just beat the Aristocrats, and there's a few decks it's good against.
And the other sideboard all-star, Gloom Surgeon. I've seen this guy getting a little bit of play. An incredibly effective anti-aggro option, especially with all these Burning Tree Emissary decks around, right? Like it basically just kills that guy and maybe even whatever he got.
Yeah, I didn't come up with him. A lot of people played him at the Pro Tour, and it was just awesome. He's a sponge, basically. You just put him up and he just soaks damage. Like, if they don't have a removal, they can't really attack. If they do have a removal, they slow down. But the removal stretched thin because they want to kill Nighthawk, they want to kill Cryptcast, they want to kill Olivia, so it just stretches them real thin.
Yeah, when all your creatures are awesome, it's not that awful to be sideboarding anymore. And plus, he's a 2-drop, which is where you're a little light in those matchups anyway. You'd much rather just get heavier on the bottom end of your curve.
Definitely. Oh yeah, so like against aggro decks, I'll just like cut some of the top end and just go real light, Gloom Surgeons. You always have a turn 2, turn 3, so...
Especially with Kessig Wolfrun, you know that you can kill them once you get the game late.
Yeah, Kessig Wolfrun on Gloom Surgeon is pretty good too, actually, because it's just like, you're going to block, okay?
All right. Well, I think that about covers this. A look at this list. I'm sure you'll have more stuff in your article on CFB.
Oh yeah, well one thing I think people might have questions about is the swamp count, right? That's something I didn't talk about. Mutilates and Cryptgas are swamp reliant, and we have these 4, 5, 9 non-swamps. Yeah, so Mutilate is like... We have about 65% swamps plus Farseeks. So on average for 4, there's -2, -3. Pretty much gets everything. Infest just happens to be really good, so that is enough. Sometimes you get screwed, but it's usually awesome.
Okay, fair enough. Thanks for joining me, Travis.
Thank you, Glenn.
Good luck in the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, thank you.